All right, welcome to the mini session to work on your, to support your thyroid. So I was doing some session work and realized that there was some things that a lot of people could probably use some benefit with your thyroid. So your thyroid sits right here in your neck area. This is the same area that you have your throat chakra. And so with your throat chakra energy, there's a lot of stuff that's emotional and energetic that can go on here, and that has an effect on your thyroid gland. So as we work on things going on emotionally and energetically through the throat area, that actually gives a benefit and a support to the thyroid gland. And so this is one of the things I'm going to be referencing my notes. So one of the things that I noticed was that guilt, regret, and embarrassment over things that we have said to other people, whether it was intentional or a misunderstanding, we tend to hold those feelings, the energies that are associated with that through the throat area. Kind of like you're choking on your words. It's like, oh, I wish I could take it back, and you can't. And so as this idea of, oh, well, I can't take it back, so now I have to hold the guilt of having said something because I feel bad about it. So some of those kinds of things, it's just baggage that you're holding here energetically in your throat area. And so I want to go through and take you through, it's really simple, kind of like a meditative release. It's using your imagination, and it will use some visual clues to help that energy be able to release that guilt, regret, embarrassment. When you have said things to other people, or when people have misunderstood what you said, like you said something and you meant it in a kind way, but it was misunderstood or taken wrong, those kinds of things, what are the emotions that maybe you tend to feel? Because it's going to be individual to each person. And so what we're going to do is, we are going to tap or rub or just gently massage this throat area right here. And so I want you to, for me, it feels right to just kind of do this soft, gentle massage. Some people are going to want to tap lightly, and I do mean lightly. Some people will want to tap lightly. Some people might want to do like a gentle circular motion, one way or the other, whatever feels most correct for you. Some people might want to do like maybe a figure 8. That would be a close second for me, but for me, I'm just feeling like I'm needing to do like a soft, gentle, just a massage across the throat right here. And so I want you to repeat after me. I forgive myself for anything I've thought or said to others or myself that caused pain, offense, or wounds in any way, whether it was intentional or a misunderstanding that I felt guilty about. I forgive myself completely. And just take some deep, slow breaths and exhale them. Okay, now I'm going to have you close your eyes. I'm actually going to be referencing my notes, but you go ahead and close your eyes. We're going to do a more visual meditation, kind of a walkthrough of being able to help to release the energies that are associated with those things that were said, regret, anything that, it could be that it was something that was said because you felt offended or angry. It could have been something that was defensive, honestly, like you were defending yourself against something that somebody said that wasn't true. But whatever it was, it's like it could be all kinds of different situations. But this actually applies to all of those situations. And you can do this multiple times. You could do this daily for a while if you felt that that's what you needed. You might go through and do this exercise one time and feel completely set with it. So you use it however you need to. So go ahead and close your eyes. I want you to imagine that you can hold out your hand and I want you to imagine that you are calling back every hurtful thing, whether it was said intentionally or as a misunderstanding, each hurtful thing, wherever it may be. And you don't have to think about it specifically like what person, but it might come up. You might think about it, but you don't have to. Just imagine that those things, wherever they're scattered across the earth, that those things are magnetically coming back to you and they're landing in your hand. They're not going to like come back to you or in your mouth or anything like that. You just want to like hold out your hand and imagine that they're coming and they're coming back and they're collecting in your hand. And now if you have a lot of things, which some of us do, then you can do a couple of different things with your imagination. You can imagine that, these words are shrinking down maybe to the size of a grain of sand. Or you can imagine that you have a container in front of you and that as your hand fills up, or maybe you have both hands out, you can imagine that you're, emptying that into this container and then you hold your hands and you let them come back in. You're recalling all of these things and you're calling them back to you. And so that you can address them. And so go ahead and keep imagining that that's coming back to you. And some of you, if you were to do a replay of the video, you might want to pause here until you feel that that's complete. But I'm just going to give some space so that anybody who's live with this can do this in real time, and hopefully I give you enough space to be able to move on with that when we're ready to go. So just keep imagining that comes into you. Empty your hands into a container that holds it all if you need to. And just let those things come back into your presence and into your possession. And if it brings up some emotion, that's completely fine. Just take a deep breath and allow it, and just be aware. You're just going to be accountable, and it's okay. Feel what you're feeling and allow those things to continue to collect in your hand. And then place them in the container if you need to. Take a deep breath. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next section. So like I said, if you're not feeling complete with that yet, it's okay. Go through, watch the replay, and then pause the video and allow that to finish coming in, okay? So once you feel like all the comments and everything have returned back into your possession, whether it's in your hand or whether it's in a container, or you can put them on the ground, wherever it feels safe to do that, you're going to set them on fire. So you're going to imagine that you strike a match, light a lighter, maybe it's zapped with lightning, however that looks or feels correct to you. This gathering of these comments and words that have gone out and now have come back into your possession, they're going to be on fire. Okay, and you're going to let them burn. You're going to let that fire settle down. It burns pretty quickly for the most part, and it's going to settle down. And you're going to notice that you've got some coals. You're going to let those coals simmer down. And then once the coals are simmered down, you have these ashes, and it doesn't matter if they're warm or cold. You can, whenever you're ready for that next moment, but when it's burnt down into ashes and that's all that's left, you're going to imagine that a fairy or a phoenix or any magical creature emerges from those ashes, okay? And whatever it is that feels correct for you, it could be, a dragon. And I know some people don't think dragons are safe creatures that are magical, but, I just keep thinking of, how to train your dragon. And we have these misperceptions of dragons. For me, when I was doing this, it was a fairy. Tinkerbell was what came up because that just works for me. And for other people, it would be a phoenix and it would be other things. And so imagine that comes out from the ashes. And so that comes now and that sits in your hand, okay? Or rests in your hands, because it's going to be a little version, whatever it is. It's not, it doesn't need to be giant. It can, sit in your hand. So if you've got like a big old dragon or, you can like shrink it down so that it now fits into your hands, whatever that magical creature is. And so once you have that, you're going to instruct this creature that it's going to go out and it is going to bless each and every person that had comments returned to you that had been sent out. So it's going to go all of those places, wherever they were from, and it might be people that you don't even remember, that it's going to go out now, that magical creature. It's going to go out and it is going to bless each and every person for the rest of your life. It will bless them in ways that they need. And so, and you might notice that the first person that it gives that magical gift of blessing to, it actually just might be you. Because how many of us are saying and thinking things about ourselves that we wish we wouldn't think, or that are really hurtful to ourselves? So I want you to imagine that that creature, gets up to go fly away, or to, it just depends on what your little creature is. And as that, you notice that as that blessing instead of that hurt. You're going to take some deep breaths again. Let's do at least one more. Okay, how do you feel? Do you feel lighter? I noticed when I worked with this, I felt so much lighter. I just felt this peace and this softness that kind of came in through my throat, and there had been maybe some more tension there before. I noticed that, as I tuned into thinking about the things that I had said to other people that I didn't mean to say, or I wish I hadn't said, before those would it would well up in my soul, in my heart, or in my throat. There would be this feeling of, oh, regret, or, oh, I felt so bad. But you can't take words back. But this was what came to me, that you can't take words back, but you can, in a way. It's emotional, but it's real. It's truly healing. So I want you to go through and practice that, and do that as often as you need to, and that's going to help and be a benefit and a support to your thyroid. So I leave you with blessings for a fantastic weekend, because today is Friday. And you know what? Make a comment below. What did you feel? How did that show up for you? Did you notice a difference? Notice over the next week if you notice any differences. If you do this a few times, if you do this daily for a little while, and you notice that help, come back and let us know how this worked for you. So I will chat with you later. I'm really planning on doing more of these. You are designed to thrive, and I am going to be doing some more support videos so that you are designed to thrive. I'm putting together a couple of classes, inexpensive classes that, or not classes, inexpensive sessions that are self-led, but because it's like I'm doing the video for it, but then it's not as expensive as if you have a session with me. And so you can purchase those and use those when I get them up. But I'm really excited. This fall and this winter is going to be a wonderful time for creation and for healing. And I am so excited to be able to support you in your healing journey, because you are designed to thrive, and if you're not. And I am excited for that to change for you. And so you have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you again in the not too distant future.